My personal philosophy is that not everyone needs it, and I think kind of oversold. Hey everyone, today's video is a brand review for MEDIK8. MEDIK8 is a super exciting brand that I almost always reach for. They have a really specific philosophy when it comes to their branding, really focusing on high quality ingredients. But I've actually chosen 5 of my favorite skincare products from MEDIK8, kind of giving you a bit of a brand overview. And at the end, I'm also going to mention a couple of least favorites, ones that I just really didn't get on with, that I wouldn't recommend to anyone. I think I kind of least like some of the more popular products, so stick around to hear that. I'm Dr. Sapna. I have suffered with acne and I've studied dermatology and I've tried all of the skincare products, and that makes me the perfect person to talk about it. I release videos every single week talking about different skincare issues, so hit subscribe to check out more videos. Definitely let me know if you've tried these before and comment down below with your favorite MEDIK8 products. Now I'm going to start by talking about the Crystal Retinal range. This is a really cool vitamin A range. These have been around for a little while now. Now basically they are retinaldehyde products. They are basically further on in the conversion pathway than retinol, making them more strong, more potent than retinols. They are not as strong as tretinoin or retinoic acid, but they are along that ladder, along that pathway. You have loads of amazing benefits from vitamin A. I'm not going to go into it in loads of details, but they increase your skin cell turnover and increase your collagen production. Now this is what's really cool about it. They have a clear ladder of progression. You start using, I think it's Crystal Retinal 1 or 3, the more gentle ones, and as you progress you can increase all the way up to using CR20. Loads of friends and family have told me they can't tolerate tretinoin, but they can tolerate these. And that's because they are in much more sort of hydrating formulations, far more beneficial for sensitive skin. It is such a lovely texture and they're super, super soft. They have these like airless pump type of containers. You can see that mine are a bit old and finished, but I'll see what I can get out. They're super, super creamy. Mine's got, I used way too much. You do not need this much. My hand will look very, very young. They do blend in really, really nicely, except I've used too much on my hand now. It's not too runny, they don't feel sticky, and they do absorb really beautifully. You can kind of probably get away without a moisturizer afterwards, but I actually would recommend using moisturizer anyway, but just let this kind of settle in for a minute or two before you put a moisturizer on top of it. That's because these don't actually cause any dryness, and they never have for me, but if you're using it for like anti-aging benefits, you probably would benefit from having a good moisturizer at night as well. For retinols, they are going to be the most effective, the strongest, the most active part of your skincare routine, so you do kind of want to invest in high quality stuff. I think the Crystal Retinal 1 is £45 and it goes all the way up to £100 for the Crystal Retinal 20. It is super expensive, but you are getting a really good high quality product. However, you can probably still get a formula that is just as strong, just as active from other brands for cheaper, but I do really like the luxury feeling of this product, as well as lots of MEDIK8 products as well. You can often find them on offer from somewhere like Look Fantastic, so see what voucher codes you can find. They do also have an eye cream version of this, which is using retinols around the eye, and they're supposed to be super, super hydrating. You obviously have to be quite careful around the delicate skin of your eye using quite strong vitamin A products, but that's why I really want to try the Crystal Retinal versions. They say that they're super hydrating as well as delivering those vitamin A. Next up, I have the Press and Clear. This is MEDIK8's answer to a BHA toner. BHAs are my go-to for acne. They are excellent for exfoliating the skin, especially those under the surface congested pores. These are really, really good at penetrating deep into the pores and help clear them out. Now, there are loads of BHA 2% toners out on the market that are very, very similar to this. They are liquid based that you put on a cotton bud or just put it in your hands, and you use it 2-3 times a week as an exfoliating toner. There is a very famous other brand that has a similar product that I've done a comparison about, so check this out. But the big sell about this particular product is, one, that it is combined with a few anti-pigment tyrosinase inhibitors that are going to help with some of your acne scarring. The main one in this is tranexamic acid. The second big point about this product versus some of the others is that it has this encapsulated slow release technology in it. That's what makes it better for sensitive skin. I found that the Paula's Choice BHA toner is very, very drying, and I really hate that on that particular product they advertise as using it daily, because I think that is too much for everyone. This product, similarly, I think it is advertised as using it daily. Let's have a look. Yeah, they even say you could use it morning and or evening. It is more gentle than the Paula's Choice one, so you probably could get away with using it every day, but I just wouldn't recommend it. You don't need it every day. Most of the time that's going to cause dehydration and over exfoliation, but this is still a really excellent BHA toner. All you have to do is just get a cotton pad and you press the pump at the top and it kind of delivers a small amount of liquid. I normally do about 2 pumps and that's usually enough to go around the whole face. I do love the pump function of this. Somehow it makes it leak proof. I don't really know how that's happening. It also can kind of help you dose it correctly. It does encourage you to use cotton pads. Some people just prefer using acids on the palms of their hands, whatever your personal preference is. If you do have issues with dry skin in your hands, then you should definitely be using cotton pads for all your skincare. Now this is £34. It's quite similar to some of the other BHAs on the market. I think for me, I could justify buying this again. And I do recommend this one over the very popular Paula's Choice 2% liquid exfoliant. Next up, I have the MEDIK8 Press and Glow. Now this is another exfoliating acid, but this time it is a PHA acid. Now this is what makes it so much more gentle than the BHA toner that I mentioned earlier. PHAs have really large molecules that stay at the surface of your skin, so they do cause an exfoliating effect, but they don't penetrate quite as deep as the BHAs. This is what makes it much more gentle and much more friendly for sensitive skin. So actually this is something you can recommend to lots of different people rather than the Press and Clear, which is more targeted at acne prone skin. I really like this because I think within 2 to 3 weeks of starting using this, you can start seeing that tiny little glow, and that gets better and better. I think it is excellent for your beginner skincare routine for someone who doesn't really have any particular issues. I think a common misconception is that you need to be using the most aggressive, the harshest skincare ingredients to see any benefits. And this is just proof that using something a bit more gentle can actually give you such good benefits. This is around £28. It's a little bit cheaper than the other acid. It's probably about standard for this type of branding, these exfoliating acids across the market. MEDIK8 is generally still an expensive brand, but I do think that you can get some really good products for the price. Next up, I have the Clarity Peptides. Now this is a 10% niacinamide and peptide serum. You can see that I have used every single drop of this. There is literally none left. I can't squeeze out anything. This packaging is the old packaging, but they have come out with something newer since. And I think the formulation is still exactly the same. Niacinamide has become my absolute staple in my skincare routine. I'm going to post a link to a video that I've talked about all the benefits of niacinamide, but it just suits my skin in every single state that it's in. So even if I am having loads and loads of breakouts and I want the niacinamide to help with the inflammation and the redness, I can use it for that. Even if I am not got breakouts, but I'm just dealing with those enlarged pores that are kind of always there, and I do think that the niacinamide slowly is helping with that as well. Almost every brand has its own version of a niacinamide serum. Like this one, they're often paired with zinc. They work quite well synergistically, especially for pimples. This one is really nice, and the only reason I haven't repurchased it is because I'm constantly testing every brand's version of this. It does remind me of the Naturium niacinamide serum as well. They both have this slightly milky light texture, but this one is also really good because it has peptides as well. It's definitely expensive as well. The newer version is £45. I think the Naturium version is about 20, so take from that what you will. Now, last but not least is the Surface Radiance Cleanser. Now, it's so funny. Initially, I had decided that I hated this, but I have actually really come around to it. I stopped using it after a few weeks initially because I had really bad dry skin from it. But then I gave it a rest for a couple of months, and actually my skin was also just dry with the changing weather and moving here, and suddenly I used it again after a few months and actually then got on with it really well. And that happens with skincare sometimes. You think you've made up your mind about something, you think that it's never going to work for you, and then you try it out and your skin is in a slightly different state and suddenly these products work really well. So for me, I actually do really like this now. It is a acid-based cleanser. It's a tiny bit foaming, so if you do have super dry skin, I would stay away from cleansers that have acids in them or are super foaming and a little bit drying. The reason I like this is because I can use it once, maybe twice a week. even when I'm using retinoids, and it doesn't over dehydrate my skin, but it is giving me that leave-on acid exfoliation. I would not recommend using it whilst you are using other exfoliating acid. Most exfoliating acids are leave-on serums and toners like that, but if you do have slightly drier skin or are using some other strong skincare, a cleanser might be a good option because it is only on the surface of your skin for a few seconds before you wash it off. That still gives you a little bit of exfoliation without going overboard with it. Like I said, I use it maybe once or twice a week. The other way to use it is actually on your body. If you suffer with acne, something like this is really good. Now, this is still quite expensive for like a body wash, but a little goes a long way. Like, you really only need like a pea-sized amount. It works really, really well. So you can use just a tiny bit in the shower on your back, maybe once or twice a week. You're only gonna get the benefit from things like this if you use them correctly. So if you overuse it, you will get dehydration. That's what happened to me. But after a few months, once I learned my lesson and constantly learning lessons, this has become something that I reach for quite often. It is quite a big tube, so it does last a really long time because you just don't need very much. So if you want to kind of get through it before the expiry date, I would recommend using it on your body. I actually use it on my back and on my armpits as well, where I can get textured skin from hair removal. Really, it's a bit gross. Sorry if that's too much information, but something like this can really help. Now, moving on to my least favorites. I actually don't have any of my least favorites with me right now because I've used them or gotten rid of them. First of all, I'm going to start with the C Tetra Luxe. Now, this was something I used a few years ago, so forgive me if they changed the formula, but I know it is still an oil-based vitamin C. I really did persist with this, and I think I tried 1 or 2 bottles of it, and I do like the effect that vitamin C gives to your skin. Now, this is a really high quality product. It definitely has good quality ingredients in it, but my skin just didn't like the oily texture, and that's because it also just was so hard for me to formulate a good skincare routine around it with products that wouldn't like pill with it. The C Tetra was so oily that it just would struggle with any other like SPF on top as well, and I'd always get like pilling. If you do have really dehydrated skin, it might work for you, but if you've got acne prone skin, I would just avoid it altogether. I think vitamin C does have a place in the skincare world, but my personal philosophy is that like not everyone needs it, and I think vitamin C is kind of oversold and is this big hype like it has been for the last few years, but I really don't think everyone needs it, and I certainly don't think everyone needs an oil-based vitamin C like this. This is just my like personal experience, but I really want to hear if you have gone on well with it and what products you use around it, because I just could never find a moisturizer and SPF that worked well with that. The next one is the Hydrate B5 Intense. I think I might have it somewhere, but I definitely finished it and used every last drop because bloody hell, that was expensive. It is £58 for a hyaluronic acid serum. You get 30 mils. I mean, look, a little does go a long way, but the whole point of hyaluronic acid serums is that you want to be able to use it every day. You can use it morning and night. And when it is this expensive, it is so hard to justify using that, especially when you have brands like Hada Labo giving you these big, like 100, 150 ml bottles that you can just slather on and use again and again and kind of build up and not feel bad about. What is intense about this serum is that it has NMF in it, natural moisturizing factors in it. That does make it like supercharged, like they say on their website. It is still a very good product, it's very hydrating, but I just can't justify that price point. The next one on my least favorite list for MEDIK8 products is actually their SPF. I think I tried an old formula of this a few years back, and I ended up just giving it to my husband because I give him a lot of skincare that I just need used up. Don't tell him. But I just didn't get on with it. It was like weirdly thick. And I think there are so many sophisticated, exciting Korean skincare SPFs out there. So I don't see and don't think I can justify this MEDIK8 one. Again, it's pretty expensive. It's £59. You can get Korean sunscreens that are really good quality for around 20. So I don't know, I don't think I could justify it on that one. Now, I've talked through my 5 favorite skincare products from MEDIK8, and I've also mentioned some of my least favorites. So if you like any of those products, please give me a shout out in the comments below. I want to hear how you use them in your skincare routine. If you are a skincare nerd like me and love everything skin and derm related, hit subscribe. Recently, I posted a video about 5 skincare gifts you could give someone for Christmas or birthdays. I'll put the link up here, check it out, and thanks for watching.